Hello, I'm Andrea Bessa from CAT Projects, where we have been working the concept of intersectionality. And it's not necessarily an easy concept to operationalize, so I will try to break down a little bit this video into my definition of what intersectionality is, what does it mean, how can we use it in a potential metaphor, and then what would it mean to a process of legislative theater. So here we go. What is intersectionality? For me, is an invitation to embrace the complexity of situations, meaning that we don't try to dissect, we don't try to figure out the main factor, but we try to bring everything in and see how different factors relate to each other, how they intersect, and how they build a new dynamic. This concept was already born in the 80s with Professor Kimberley, when she was studying the impact that certain policies had preventing discrimination. And she realized that when we do target a single discrimination, then we might have a positive impact, but just to the main group or to the stereotype of that group, and it does not extend to the others. And if we tackle these discriminations isolatedly, we still are going to miss really important information, and we keep on excluding the people that are the most discriminated. So how do we operationalize this concept? And for me, it is really connected with the power dynamics concept. So if I would choose a metaphor, I would use, for the ones that are familiar with Bourdieu theories, the concept of field, that implies that we have a very concrete context. And if we have this field, if we have this context defined, then we have to think for that particular context, which factors are the most important in terms of or gaining power, meaning are having more privilege, or losing power, or being more discriminated. And then we have to see these different powers like a 3D or a 4D kind of acts. And we have to understand where different people and when ourselves actually fit in this context. And having this understanding and combining all these different factors is what would be an intersectional approach. So what would that mean for a project of legislative theater? First thing would be to analyze our own position. What power do I have when I am in a group, when I'm facilitating a group? And also, who do I have in a room? And what power do these people bring with them? And what is the situation outside? And I think here is the brilliant part, that the participatory process, when well done, actually do challenge a lot the power dynamics that we have external and becomes much more horizontal. And that is what we want in our process, to give similar amount of power to different forms of knowledge, whether it's experiential, whether it's academic, whether it's based on research, but we want all these voices to be heard. Another use is when we analyze the problem itself, when we analyze what are the factors involved and what would be the potential solutions. And intersectionality tells us to not be super simplistic, not use this dichotomic way of thinking that is everything or nothing, but actually embrace all these differences, all these incoherences, all these complexities inside the problem. And as a facilitator, our role is to pose questions, is to keep on having a critical analysis of what we are talking about. When we build our own play, also to use the same complexity for each of the characters. There is not 100% good people or 100% bad people. And to embrace this incoherence would also be a way of having an intersectional approach. And maybe the problem with this concept is it seems simple, it seems easy, or is easy to tell what it is, but it's definitely not easy to put in practice. And it still brings a lot of question. How far do we embrace this complexity? How many factors we actually take into account? When do we keep on asking questions? So all this is not necessarily something that I can answer in this moment. But if you have an opinion or if you see it differently, please write in the comments. I think it would be a nice discussion to have. Thank you.